This isn't just for Caitlyn, but you asked me about Caitlyn. If you're going to break a record to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that player said it. This is the Sheryl Swoopes Caitlyn Clark haters have come to know and love. But hell just froze over because Caitlyn finally did something so big and impactful that even Sheryl had to give her respect. For the second straight year, Caitlyn turned down a chance to compete in the NBA All-Star Game's 3-point challenge. And yeah, there were a lot of people who were disappointed, especially the NBA brass. I'll get to that in a minute. Now, because it's Caitlyn Clark, you'd expect the haters to come out of the woodwork after a decision like this. Call her selfish, call her afraid. Every decision she makes is under the microscope, but not this time. Her decision to snub the NBA magically struck a chord with her detractors. And in a twist that no one saw coming, Caitlyn's longtime critic Sheryl Swoopes actually came to her defense. The basketball world collectively stopped and scanned the sky for flying pigs. Was this really happening? Did Sheryl hop off the hater bus and board the Kate train? As I mentioned in a previous video, at some point the old guard's jealousy toward Caitlyn will have to take a back seat to allow the game to grow. And if they wouldn't be so blind, they'd realize that everything she's doing is good for the entire WNBA. But are we at that point where Sheryl and others are finally able to stop chugging the Haterade and just ride the Caitlyn wave? In my mind, after this move to decline the All-Star Game, Caitlyn is just one key move away from bringing the haters to their knees. Let's break it down. But first, do you think this was a smart move by Caitlyn? Let me know in the comments. All right, let's talk about the decision that's got everyone buzzing. Caitlyn Clark, the face of the WNBA. Whether you like it or not, Angel Reese just dropped a bombshell that's left the NBA scrambling. She turned down an invitation to participate in the NBA All-Star Weekend's 3-point contest. Yep, she was offered a primetime spot on one of the biggest stages in basketball, and casually said thanks. But no thanks. Some people were upset with this, mainly the NBA, which was banking on Clark's star power to give them a ratings boost. I mean, have you seen those NBA in-season tournament games with the neon courts? They're looking for anything that'll grab eyeballs, and they know Caitlyn would be a guaranteed draw. But I don't know why they'd be surprised. This isn't the first time Caitlyn said no to the NBA's advances. Last year, she turned down a similar invitation, citing the need for rest after a grueling college season that saw her lead the Iowa Hawkeyes all the way to the national championship. But this year, her snub just hits different. It's not about rest. Clark's representatives made it crystal clear her first 3-point competition will be at a WNBA All-Star Game in Indy. Let that sink in for a second. She's not simply passing on the NBA, she's actively choosing to prioritize the women's game. Now, this is no small flex. As WNBA star Chiny Aguamike put it, a lot of people say that Caitlyn Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. That says it all. Clark's not just participating in the game anymore. She's dictating its terms. It's like watching Neo realize he's the one in the Matrix. Caitlyn Clark is in control. She knows it, and she's choosing to prioritize the women's game instead of enriching herself. Now let's put this into perspective. What kind of exposure did Caitlyn just cast aside? The WNBA All-Star Game hasn't exactly been a ratings juggernaut in the past. But here's where it gets interesting. During Clark's rookie season, WNBA regular season viewership nearly tripled. Hell, when she played in the Onika Pro-Am Golf Tournament, the event saw a 12x increase in ticket sales. No matter what she touches, it turns to gold. In this case, she's banking on her star power to promote the women's game. So I think Caitlyn, she moves because she knows people follow her no matter where she goes, and she's very strategic about dictating where her value is. This is where Caitlyn is savvy. Her decisions aren't just about one event or one season, it's about the long game. By choosing the WNBA over the NBA's offer, she's sending a clear message. Women's basketball isn't just a sideshow or a stepping stone, it's the main event, and she's going to make sure it's center stage. She knows it's in the best interest for her and her WNBA peers, and it's going to work out because she is an absolute ratings magnet. With the first pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Caitlyn Clark, University of Iowa. The 2024 WNBA draft, where Clark was the first overall pick, drew a league record 24 million viewers. That's more eyeballs than many NBA regular season games. Clark played in 20 of the 23 WNBA games that attracted over 1 million viewers during her rookie season. But the Caitlyn Clark effect isn't limited to TV ratings. The Indiana Fever, Clark's team, set a single-season attendance record with over 300,000 fans visiting Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Keep in mind, this was a bottom-feeding team the previous year. In fact, Clark was responsible for 1 in 6 tickets sold in the WNBA last season. That's not just star power, that's supernova-level impact. Other teams are even moving games to larger arenas to accommodate the Clark-driven crowds. But here's the kicker: this surge in popularity isn't just about Caitlyn Clark. It's about what she represents for the future of women's basketball. Yes, the league still lost money last year, but it's gaining serious momentum. The WNBA is finally breaking out of the charity zone and becoming a year-round conversation. I mean, we're here now talking about it in February, right? The WNBA was recognized as the fastest-growing brand of 2024. That's not just a sports achievement, that's a cultural shift. It's proof that women's basketball isn't just a niche interest anymore. Because of Caitlin, it's becoming mainstream entertainment. And every move she's made has been to prioritize the WNBA and her performance. She's thinking like a CEO, not just an athlete. Her decision aligned perfectly with her past choices, like turning down the unrivaled league despite a lucrative $1 million offer. Clark chose to rest after an intense rookie season that saw her win Rookie of the Year, so that she could return to the WNBA, take her game to another level, and build even more momentum for the league. She knows unrivaled, like the NBA All-Star Game, is an appetizer, not the main course. And that brings us back to Sheryl Swoopes, the WNBA legend, who had been one of Clark's most vocal critics. But this time Swoopes wasn't here to throw shade. No, she was about to flip the script in a way that no one saw coming. Let's rewind for a second. Swoopes, a three-time WNBA MVP and four-time champion, had previously been skeptical of Clark's ability to dominate in the pros. Will Caitlin Clark come into the WNBA and do what she's doing right now immediately? Absolutely not gonna happen. Now, with Clark's decision to skip the NBA All-Star Weekend's three-point contest making waves, everyone expected Swoopes to join the chorus of criticism. After all, this was a golden opportunity for Clark to showcase her skills on one of basketball's biggest stages. But Swoopes did something that left jaws on the floor. She defended Clark's choice during an episode of Gil's Arena. Swoopes dropped a truth bomb that reverberated through the basketball community. "I respect that," Swoopes said with some pain in her face. But as Sheryl continued, she actually provided some important perspective that I think all the haters should hear. That's an important point. Last year, Sabrina Ionescu participated in a much-hyped and watched three-point showdown with Steph Curry, losing by just 3 points. But that's what makes Caitlin's decision so honorable and impactful. She's prioritizing the WNBA and keeping the spotlight 100% on its players, not on herself, by choosing the WNBA All-Star Game. Swoopes recognized that Clark's commitment to the WNBA was a power move that could elevate the entire league. Honestly, it was nice to see the light bulb going off in Sheryl's head. As I mentioned, there is a point where the old guard needs to accept that Caitlin is the one and lay off the jealousy in order to project unity and facilitate growth. Thanks for watching, and subscribe my channel.